Test.
To the members and like what would bring people in here?
Test, test.
The only club, the only restaurant, Naples is open to happy hour.
Personally agree. We don't need to have a happy hour on a Friday night.
I didn't say Friday night, but there are plenty other nights.
Yeah.
I mean, we have. If we're going to be. She is short-sighted in the fact that you want to develop a trend so that people will come in here and think of this as their first and most enjoyable place to go. If I come in here, I know I can have a couple of drinks. Maybe I'll have an appetizer. Then maybe I'm comfortable. I've had a few drinks. I'll stay here and eat. But their attitude is, well, if you don't make a reservation, we can't help you. And a friend of mine came up here Saturday, my neighbor, and he didn't have a reservation. He just wanted to come in with his father-in-law who's elderly, and there was nobody in here. And they asked him for a reservation. I mean, they fed him, but that's the type of mentality that we have that just turns people off, just drives them right out.
Well, I can also understand the importance of trying to have reservations because you're trying to staff accordingly, and you don't want to overstaff and incur expenses that you're going to need to incur.
Well,
And if you don't require reservations and nobody comes in, and then you tell your help, well, sorry, we don't need you tonight, you go home.
well,
And how long does that happen before they say,
well,
forget you?
since we don't have any happy hours, have you ever made a reservation at happy hour?
I make reservations all the time.
But not at a happy hour at a
No,
restaurant.
I go down, I go for happy hour. and I stay there.
Right. Hey. Yeah, that's my whole point. So if we had happy hour, that would bring the people in. But I guess I don't. I'm on a different wavelength than most people, I guess, when it comes to
Does
this
she,
stuff.
is there opportunities for her to improve her people skills? Absolutely.
She doesn't have any people skills. She doesn't. You hear the way she talks when people address in the open meeting to them. I had a lady from my neighborhood that was just put her right down. Not good.
Yep, battery full. All bars across the bottom.
Huh?
We're gonna talk about the M group.
Yeah, but you can tell them what we talked. You can tell them we talked about it, and also talk about the handheld servers. That's basically all we talked about. Okay?
And telephone.
Yeah. Okay. You cover those three things. I'm going to cover them at length in my president's report, but so you can just sit and say, yeah. Hi, everybody. We're about 7 or 8 minutes away from getting started here. If you would like to speak during the open forum section of the meeting, there's a sign-up sheet right up here in front of me. Thank you. Go the other way? Oh, other way. Got him? Cool, thank you. Just a reminder, everybody, we're going to start in a couple minutes. If you would like to speak during the open forum section of the meeting, a sign-up sheet is up here. Once we start the meeting, the sign-up for that part of the agenda today will be closed. So here's your last chance to get on the agenda with the open forum. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the February Master Board meeting for the Royal Wood Association. Just a matter of housekeeping, once again, like I do before every meeting. If you haven't done so already, please put your cell phones on silent or vibrate. We would appreciate that, so there would be no interruptions during the meeting. And also a special hello to everybody watching us on YouTube TV. I don't know how popular we are, but if you're watching online from either here in Royal Wood or somewhere else, welcome. And with that, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mrs. Richard, did we have adequate proof of notice, and is a quorum established for this meeting? It's confirmed by Mrs. Richard. And with that, has everybody on the board had a chance to review the minutes of the January 13th Master Board meeting? Does anyone have any additions, corrections, or deletions they would like to offer with the minutes?
It's good here. Good job, Mike.
So if there is no additions, deletions, or corrections, would somebody please entertain a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved?
Motion by Rick Murphy to accept the January board meeting minutes. Is there a second? Seconded by Secretary Mike Murphy. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we have a busy day here at the club today. Hopefully the meeting won't take too long. We do not have a lot on the agenda today. And I know several of you are going to an event immediately after this one. The ladies member guest tournament is tomorrow here at Royal Wood, and their cocktail party pre-tournament, get ready, meet the competition event is happening at 4:30 out in the atrium area. So we will do our best to get you out of here on time so you can have a good time tonight, and you can go get them tomorrow with some great golf here at Royal Wood. As far as my report this month, I want to remind everybody that on March 10th is the annual membership meeting. It will be here at the clubhouse, and I'm going to need everybody's help. Both everybody here, everybody watching it at home, and everybody open the mail here the next few days, because we need to get a quorum established for the meeting so we can have it. We need 240 responses so we can have the meeting in March. That's 30% of the membership, okay? How do we accomplish that? Number one, you can come here in person. That would be great. Number two, you can fill out a proxy form. They will be mailed out tomorrow. Some of you have already maybe seen them on an email from Jessica, which you can print out the proxy, turn it in here at the clubhouse, or if you don't have a printer and you don't want to wait for it to come in the mail, they can print you one out and we'll collect them here for you. Now, a couple key things on the proxies. If you put your name on the top of the proxy as you're voting for yourself, you have to be here. If you're not here, the proxy will not count. So please do that. If you're not going to be here, and if you would please fill out a proxy, put somebody's name on it that will be here. You can put any of us 7 up here. You can pick your designated master board representative from the community you come from. You can do a friend or a neighbor, but make sure that person is going to be here, otherwise your proxy won't count. And we want your proxies in early. That way we won't be counting proxies the day of the meeting, because if we don't have 240 proxies or people here in person, the meeting will not start. We will have to put it off to another date. And we don't want that to happen for a couple different reasons. So please help us out with the proxies. The only real agenda item we have today is a offer from a consulting agency to maybe start doing some negotiations with Summit. I know it's been a rough month with Summit Broadband. The last 6 weeks have been kind of rough. We've had multiple TV issues. We've had multiple internet issues. Last year, I think it was in April last year, several of us on the board and Debbie, we went to a symposium here in Naples, and we talked to great detail with several of the other internet, TV, fiber optic companies in the area regarding what they could do for us down the road. We are currently in year 7 of a 10-year contract with Summit Broadband. We cannot get out of the contract. The way the language was written, the burden of proof on our part to get out of it would be virtually impossible to do. So what do? Do we want to put up with our current situation for 3 years, or do we want to investigate a way maybe to make it better? One of the booths we went to was the M Consulting Group, as you've seen on your agenda today. We talked to them for quite a while. We told them our situation. They said if down the road, if we would like to make a switch, they could help us as far as getting a contract and pricing and things that would be attractive to us here in Royal Wood. Shortly before the first of the year, they recontacted us again. And at this time, they're offering we could possibly renegotiate a better contract with multiple upgrades for us, so we're not in the quandary we are right now. So, who is the M Consulting Group? The M Consulting Group is based in Southwest Florida since 2015. And they've had over 130 years combined experience with telecom services. And the M Consulting Group specializes in reducing your community's internet and TV expense, negotiating for enhanced services and upgraded equipment with faster internet speeds, and improving our contract terms. The best part of this service does not cost us a dime. It is free of charge. They get paid directly by the service providers. Even if we would accept maybe a negotiated contract from Summit and approve it, there is still no cost to us. This is a free look of what we can do, possibly with Summit, to improve our TV and internet situation we currently have here in Royal Wood. Some of the things that they've identified with other communities that they've done this service for is infrastructure updates. The fiber optic would be run directly into your home, directly into your condo unit. Currently, and for the condo units, it's run into the good old RG59 coax that have been here since the late 1980s. And by the time that it processes all this, that's why we're having a lot of problems with our pixelation, distortion, audio problems. Also, you would get a new ONT unit and a new modem in your utility rooms. That ONT unit is basically a router box. It's that big box the condo owners that's about this big. It's in your laundry room. For the homeowners, I'm not really sure where it's at, but it's probably in your utility area or somewhere off your garage area as well. That's usually where it's at. So you would get 2 new pieces of equipment. And the modem is the most important part because currently we have an internet speed of anywhere from 100 megabytes per second to 250 megabytes per second. What they believe they can get from Summit Broadband is 2 gigabytes per second internet speed, or roughly 20 times the increased speed that we are experiencing right now. So that would be huge, especially for the people who love streaming, gaming, working from home. You would have a much stronger and reliable internet signal. Let's see. Also, you would be provided with a wireless extender for your condo or your home. So that way you could put it in the weak areas of your residence, and hopefully that will have a equally strong internet and Wi-Fi connection all over your residence. The TV package, currently we have the DigiBasic HD gateway with 100 channels. Maybe it's not quite 100 channels anymore, because I know everybody's aware. They dropped some MTV channels, they dropped Paramount channels, they dropped some other channels. They've also dropped for those that you use on demand, especially the free on-demand services. Like if you missed, let's say Chicago Fire last night, if it was on TV, and you want to watch it today, because you used to be able just to dial that up and watch Chicago Fire the next day, you can't do it now. If you click on demand and you click on free TV, the shows are still there, but none of the new shows will be on because they discontinued that service January 1st also. As far as the picture delivery to the TV, none of the TVs anymore would be hooked up to coaxial cable. All of the hookups would be through a single box that would probably go on whatever TV that you want to be your master TV, and the signals will be sent to your other TVs. So your TVs would not be connected to coax anymore. Everybody would get a box with, and they'll be able to service 3 TVs in their unit. Another nice part of this system is you can reload that box anywhere you want. Let's say you're seasonal here, and you're really like the Summit package we have here. You can take that box, unplug it, put it in your suitcase or carry-on, or throw it in your car, go home. You can plug it in at home, and you'll have the exact same TV at home as you would have here. With some of the other bells and whistles here I'm going to tell you about in a second. Also, some of you may have DVRs and you're paying for DVR service. This service would come automatically with a DVR, and it's not a hard drive DVR that you currently have in that large box you have sitting by your main TV. This would be a DVR in the cloud. So it's not limited to, let's say, I can only record 50 programs at a time, then it's full, then I have to start deleting them. The DVR would be a cloud situation. You'll be able to have rewind TV with this. You can look on your guide, and if you see you missed something, you can go back in the guide and click up that program. You'll be able to watch it. Or if you're watching a show and you got interrupted and or you missed what they were saying, you can simply just rewind it on the spot and pick it back up where you left off at. Streaming TV app is available. You'll be able to stream the content to your phone, your tablet, or any other streaming device. So if you're sitting in an airport for 3 hours and you got stuck in a delay and you're bored to death and you want to watch what's on Wink News, you can just click up the app, turn on Wink News, and watch it right through your phone or your tablet right at the airport or wherever you may be. That's a nice little extra also. And also there's streaming video apps with this as well. No longer do you have to have multiple remotes, because the remotes would have automatic connections to Netflix, Prime Video, Hulu, or some other streaming apps that could be available to us here with an upgraded package. All the remotes will be voice command. I know some of you in the past might have been a Comcast subscriber here, and one of the things one of their new features they had several years ago was the voice app. So, you pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I want to watch Wink News at 6." Your TV will go to Wink News at 6 o'clock, or it'll automatically turn to Wink News or whatever channel you would like to watch. Like I said earlier, our contract runs out of April of 2028. So if we find out that this is something we don't want to go through with or explore, it doesn't cost us anything, it's a free look. M Consulting Group is estimating that starting off this new package would be roughly $73 a month. I believe we're currently paying $75 or so a month, every household is. So they would start us off with a price break probably, and the annual increase would only be 3% a year, where the industry standard is 8 to 12% a year. Currently, our contract with Summit, there is automatic 3% increase in that as well. We would tell them that we would want extremely strong contract language regarding performance issues of both the internet and the TV product, and penalties if they do not hold up their end of the bargain. And I'll talk more about that in a second. Another part of language we would insist being in the contract is a TV escape clause. Let's say we decide to go with this and sign on for maybe 5 more years, and maybe what the time we have left with them. So let's say 5 to 7 years, we're going to sign up for this, possibly, if they would give us those type of terms. If we're not happy with the TV product, we would have language in, we can drop the TV and have internet only with them. That way, we can pick our own streaming content through Hulu, Fubi, Netflix, Amazon, wherever you want to get your TV from, okay? That would be another option. And usually the internet option is only billed per door at $25 a month. So, are we skeptical? Absolutely. All of us would be like the Dachshunds in the back of your car window with their heads nodding up and down. We are very skeptical because we have been very unhappy with Summit to this point. But it doesn't cost us anything to look. And the only thing we would do today under new business is we would approve a letter of agency that we would sign saying we give them the authorization to look into a new contract and bring it back to us. If they bring us back something that we think is worthy of the membership looking at, or maybe if it's not, we're going to explain it all to you. We're going to lay it all out for you. We're going to have M Consulting come in and probably put on 2 town halls so people can attend these meetings and they can ask all your questions you want, so you're very informed. Then if we get to that point, it's very important that you talk to us. You talk to all of your community representatives for the master board and let them know your feelings on this, because it could possibly come up to a vote. Now, we did some reviews as well. We contacted 3 different communities that did Summit upgrades when they were previously a Summit customer. 2 of them were high-rises here in Naples. One was in Marco Island, and one was up in North Naples, I believe. The high-rise units, they only had 90 members, so it wasn't a large sample size. But what they relayed to us, as I talked to their general manager, they loved the product, the installation went smooth, and they've had very few issues, if any, since. Debbie will tell you how she gets bombarded with emails and phone calls every week with problems with Summit. And she has to deal with that on a regular basis. Both of these communities said their trouble calls went down substantially. They also said, and this is another thing I forgot to inform you about what they can do for us. Let's say your TV goes out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so you call the help desk. How many have been on hold forever with the help desk with Summit trying to get your services restored? Part of the negotiations and language we would insist that be put in the contract for this is that our phone numbers would automatically go to the top of the queue. So being a preferred customer and doing the upgrades with Summit, instead of being 23rd in the queue to get answered by a customer service representative, we would go to either 2 or 3 on the list. So that experience would be enhanced as well. The other review that we did is with a community similar to ours, and it was Countryside Golf and Country Club. It's up here at the intersection of Davis and Santa Barbara. They have 1,200 homes in that community. Talking to their general manager, they love the internet. They said the internet part of this is fantastic. It coverages their whole home. The speeds are more than acceptable. They can stream, work, anything they want, game, and everything else works fine with the internet. But they're not happy with the TV product, which was very concerning to all of us up here. They say they're still having problems with voice and audio drop, pixelation, and picture freezing. The 3 things that kind of plague us here the most with our TV reception. In fact, they have a meeting with the CEO of Summit Broadband to try to resolve some of these issues. And Joe from Countryside said he'd call me back and let me know how that went. So that's basically what we'll be talking about in new business today. We'll get into it a little bit more, but I just want to make you very aware of what this agenda item is here today. So with that, we're going to move on. with the agenda here today, and next up is the treasurer, no, I'm sorry, is the general manager report, Debbie Richard. I lost it. Where'd mine go? Oh, there it is.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think this M company is going to be really, really good for Royalwood. And they don't work just with Summit, so they're not getting just like, let's stay with Summit, kind of a commission thing. They use everybody. So that was the one thing that I liked about them. And the other thing is, can we really wait another 3.5 years before we get something that's worthy of what we're paying right now? One of the things with the new contract, it will have any upgrades that they come up with, we will be eligible for. So right now, in the contract language, we're not eligible for upgrades, and that's why we're sort of always in trouble. We're always in the back. We're trying to have upgraded stuff work with our old stuff. So I'm hoping that, that we can come up with something that makes everybody happy here. Because the way it is now, I feel so bad for people who have to put up with this. And there's some people that don't. Some people have good cable, but the ones that don't, it's really terrible. Saturday's event, we had a birthday party here. I'd like to say happy birthday to Mr. Bontonimus, his 90th birthday. That was really well attended. We had about 50 people for that. The social committee ran an outdoor concert. We had hamburgers, hot dogs, and chicken wraps. They had a full bar out there. And that was really, really successful. They did an amazing job. I'm sure that Mrs. Azara will tell you more about that, but it was really, really great. And then we had about 35 reservations in the club, so we had chefs everywhere. And it couldn't have been a better night for everybody. It was really great. I'm not sure if all of you know, but Ogene has hired an assistant. Her name is Christine Morera. She was the bartender outside for the concert. She's a bartender, and on the side, she does party planning. So she's very versed in all the stuff that we can use her for, and she's great on the computer, which is really, really great. I'm so glad that the golf course now has taken a turn. It looks fantastic. It's greened up nice, as we were promised. We survived all that cold weather, and even where the rest of the country is getting snow, we're beautiful. Couldn't be better down here. The Peloton bikes are both up and running in the fitness center. Mr. Norbaum already mentioned about the annual meeting. We will be mailing them out. They'll be emailed as well. You'll be able to do it online. You don't have to print it out. You can do it online and just send it back to us. Last year, we didn't have enough for a quorum, so we had to postpone the annual meeting, which is always a shame, so we're really pushing it early this year, try to get it out there, get as many people just to send it back. There really isn't a vote, it's just enough so we can have a quorum, so we're hoping that everyone will just check the box and bring it in. I know that some people feel really weird when they see their proxy, they think, I'm not giving that person permission to vote on my behalf. And what you're really doing is saying, this is what I want, and the person's going to be here, and so they will say, this is what this person wants. They don't change your vote. It's your vote. You're just putting a person on there that will be at the meeting. And I know last year we had a lot of trouble because the one person, we had probably 15 or 20 for that person, and they couldn't make it to the meeting. So you know that your board members will all be there, so if you don't feel comfortable with that, put your board member, and we'll have enough this year, hopefully. As I let everyone know, I went to a CMAA annual convention that was in Tampa. It was fantastic. It's always really good to go to those. You get like an hour and a half, 2-hour classes that you go to every couple hours. I think I attended 8 classes while I was there. And I just want to put my 2 cents in. Pickleball was the biggest topic in every single class we went, every single one. It is the #1 game in the country. I think that if Royalwood doesn't put in pickleball courts up here, it will be a mistake. It is one of the only questions that we really get from people who want to purchase in here. Do you have pickleball courts? And they're not talking about courts that have been changed over. And we are not by far different than any other club that the tennis people hate the pickleball people. It is the same everywhere. They do not get along. They don't want them on their turf. It's all over. So that was just my little 2 cents. The fashion show is this Thursday. We're expecting about 150 people. So if you're playing golf that day or planning on playing cards that day or doing something, please try and carpool that day, or you'll be driving in circles all upset at me. But we'll probably have one of the rangers or a couple people out there trying to help people park. But yeah, if you can carpool that day, it'll be really, really good. And the last thing I'd like to say, as Mr. Norburn said, the next meeting is our annual meeting. It's really for the members. The members get to do all the talking. Mr. Norbaum and Mr. Fry are getting off the board. And I don't know, there's only a handful of people that have actually been on this board that are still here. And so you don't realize all the work that they put in and all the aggravation they put in. When they're at the bar, you'll have 50 people coming up asking you questions and wanting to talk about whatever's interesting to them while you're just trying to relax and enjoy your friends. So I just want to thank them both. You don't always have to have the same opinion, but it's great that we have such a difference in the board that it always makes the best for the membership. So I'd really like to thank Mr. Fry and Mr. Norbaum for all their services. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. And you're not going to miss me, by the way. I know you're not, so that'll be just fine. Just kidding. Also at the annual meeting, we're going to offer a little food afterwards, free food. That's always the great enticer to get people come to a meeting, offer them free food. So please come to the annual meeting or send in your proxy. And, we want to have this all wrapped up several days before the meeting because last year, we thought we had a quorum, and then we had to pour over the proxies, and we had a handful of people that put their name on the proxies, and they weren't here. They didn't count, so we had to suspend the annual meeting and pick it back up in April. I don't want to be back up here in April running another meeting. So please, everybody help us with that, and everybody back home, please help us with that. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you. Next up is our treasurer's report, Mr. Rick Murphy.
I have a question for Debbie.
Can I use the microphone?
About pickleballs. Is the Andover part of Royalwood? Is the Andover part of Royalwood? Andover. Is it part of Royalwood? How about Bloomfield? Amherst? Cobblestone? Amberley? Cranbrook? They all have pickleballs. So you said Royalwood doesn't have pickleball. We have 12 pickleball courts.
What about the single-family homeowners? What about the ones that are in one community but can't play in another community?
So you're saying we want pickleball only for homeowners? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that.
Then,
I think we want an overflow here, just like we have tennis courts here. I'm not saying that you're going to do it. I'm just saying that you should be open to it.
no. For several months I've said every time the pickleball thing comes up, that Bloomfield invites homeowners to come and play pickleball over there. Not one of them has taken up that invitation.
I don't
So if the homeowners want to play pickleball, they can come to Bloomfield.
Okay?
So we can't say we don't have pickleball.
I can say that I work for the Master Association, and the Master Association does not have pickleball.
So you saying Andover is not part of the Master Association?
No, it's not.
Who is a part of the Master Association? The homeowners?
No, the people sitting right here.
Sorry?
The people sitting right here. Right here.
I mean, I'm part of the board, right?
Yes, you are.
I represent Bloomfield.
Yes, you do.
We have 2 pickleball courts.
Okay.
He represents Cranbrook. He has 2 pickleball courts. He represents Andover, he has
I
two pickle.
understand what you're saying, I get it, yes, but we
So
don't
when
have
you
the
say Master
board.
Association doesn't have pickleball courts, I don't understand what you're saying.
That's what I said. The master board, we do not, at the master, up here at the clubhouse, we do not have pickleball.
So who would benefit with the pickleball courts over here? The homeowners? Who don't have any?
I don't know,
right?
we could have tournaments up here, we could have
Sorry?
everybody from everywhere. It wouldn't be for one association, it would be for everybody. We could have tournaments.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Would you repeat that, please?
You don't want pickleball, I take it, up here at the clubhouse. You're
I don't
against
want what?
pickleball? You're against pickleball at the clubhouse?
No, I'm not against pickleball. I'm saying you made a statement that we don't have pickleball. I'm saying we have 12 pickleball courts.
Okay, so when a person comes in, wants to purchase here, and I tell them we have one pool, one tennis court, and
12 pickleball courts.
where are they here, up here?
No, I'm saying you misrepresenting Royalwood.
No, I'm not.
When you say we don't have pickleball courts. We have 12 pickleball courts.
Okay,
Unless you say that none of these 6 communities are part of Royalwood.
okay. But what happens if the board changes and Bloomfield doesn't want to let anyone use theirs? They have that right.
Jamshed, I think the point that Debbie's making is that the Master Association does not provide pickleball to its members. We provide tennis courts here to our members, but we don't provide pickleball. Benefits of a pickleball courts here at the club would be community tournaments up here. Also, play and tournaments up here would drive food and beverage revenue as people would stay and play afterwards. The associations provide pickleball. The Master Association does not. Some of the communities here have closed times that they can play pickleball. They're not open to the membership. And what Debbie is trying to portray is, at the conference she just went to, this is the driving topic for all the general managers and all the bundled communities over Southwest Florida. People coming in, moving in, looking at properties, looking at condos they want to buy. They want to make sure they have all the amenities, and they evaluate these between one club to another when they make a purchase here for real estate. And what Debbie is simply relaying is that the Master Association, on our common grounds, we do not offer pickleball to the membership, only the condo associations.
Okay, I don't want to pursue this, but I don't agree with that. We have 12 pickleball courts. We misrepresent ourselves when we say we don't have any pickleball.
But it's not dedicated courts for all the members. So, okay? Any other questions for Debbie? Okay, now we're going to move on with the treasurer's report. Rick Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone. I have just a few items to brief the board and the membership on. The first item relates to our 2024 preliminary financial results that I reviewed with you at last month's meeting. The very positive results, but I stress that they were preliminary results because there's a long process that our management team has to go through to really finalize the books for year-end numbers and then go through the financial audit before we can actually publish our year-end results. But since last month's meeting, our management team has been doing a lot of work making sure that all invoices for goods and services that we received during last year were paid through last year's budget. So a lot of invoices came in since our January board and since I briefed the membership last month. It will have an impact on the net earnings before non-cash items. If you recall, I was reporting that we were going to have a net surplus of about $362,000. These additional expenses will reduce that number slightly, but we still anticipate to have a surplus of around $300,000. And as I also mentioned, that those funds that are going to be actually directed towards our capital reserves based upon the recommendation from the Finance Committee that was approved by the board. Any surpluses last year, this year, and up to 2028, if we're able to have surpluses, will be rolled into the capital reserves to offset any cost increases that we may incur with the golf course project. Our goal here is to not have a special assessment for our golf course project in 2028, but as you all know, the cost of these types of projects are continuing to increase. But we're feeling good that we have good reserves now, and our surplus like we had, $300,000 last year, can only boost that. So that's very positive news, but we wanted to give it the time to make sure that all of our invoices for 2024 were in and booked against 2024. Now the process of our external auditors coming in to do the annual financial audit is beginning, and in our March meeting, we will have an update from RSM, the company that does our external audit, on the results of that audit. Shifting gears a little bit, the next item I'd like to share with you is that our Finance Committee has met twice over the last month. And I know it's only February, but they're meeting to start the process for our 2026 budget, believe it or not. So the committee has met twice, had very good discussions. Debbie and Seth Roberts, our controller, participated in those meetings. And as a result of that meeting, those meetings, there were requests from the Finance Committee to have Seth provide real detailed data and metrics on some of our results in 2020-24. So we can actually peel back the onion on those and really identify opportunities to enhance the financial results of Royal Goodwood going forward, and hopefully have surplus. But our job as a board and of the Finance Committee is to have a surplus, but not a surplus that is going to inflate your membership dues either. So we're trying to find that right balance. So they're doing tremendous work. A lot of work goes into the preparation of the budget from now right through the summertime that we don't even see. Because in October, when most of us come back, we're finalizing the budget for 2026. And it'll have to be voted on in November in order for our bills to go out at the end of the year. So a lot of work has been done so far. The next meeting of the Finance Committee is scheduled for next Monday, February 17th. And after that meeting, we'll be holding a joint Finance Committee Master Board meeting where we will be discussing the 2026 budgets. And at that meeting, it's an opportunity for all of us, the board, the individual committees of Royalwood, and even membership who have a real burning desire to see something budgeted for in our Master Board budget. That's the opportunity for the board and the committees and the membership to say, we think you should consider this. Whether it's a cost savings or a revenue enhancement opportunity, it's the opportunity to share some of those ideas. So that will be held probably sometime in March. We'll be coming out with the data on that as soon as it is finalized. And a late addition to my report, because I was looking at my laptop during the meeting, and our controller just sent to me the preliminary results for January 2025 results. And I've only spent a few minutes going through it, but we're off to a really good start. We had a net surplus of approximately $56,000 budgeted for January, and it looks like we're going to end up at around $66,000, so about $10,000 over the $55,000 surplus just for the month of January. So we're off to a good start. January, February, and March obviously are really important months for us because that is where we generate a lot of our revenue. So getting off to a good start to help us get through those summer months is really critical. So I think that concludes my report, and I'll welcome any questions that the board may have. Okay.
Thank you, Rick. It's always encouraging to get good news, especially on the financial side of the club. Our Finance Committee works very hard and takes us very seriously to do the best job they can for our community. So I'd like to thank Rick and the committee for their efforts and keeping us on budget here at the club. And coming in under budget, that's even better yet. Any directors' comments or discussion at this time?
Regarding what Jim Shed was saying about pickleball available to this community, it is available to everybody at Royal Wood, as I understand it, on an app called Team Reach. Is that correct? Gary, do you know?
It is, but the Team Reach app is not all-encompassing for all of Royal Wood. It is dependent upon each community and the participation and permission and use of their own pickleball courts.
Okay. So there are two decisions, two things we can do. We can incorporate it as part of the redo of the tennis courts and have pickleball there, or a separate $400,000 item to put 2 pickleball courts next to the pro shop. Is that right?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 4, but essentially that will be the cost to build new pickleball courts here at the club, because not only the infrastructure of building the courts would need to take place, we would have to increase more parking, and we would require approximately 8 more spaces than we have right now.
Okay. So if it goes over here with the tennis courts and the redo, we wouldn't need additional spaces?
Probably no.
Okay.
But this is something that the FPC committee is working on and putting proposals together for. So we'll hear from John Alessandrello from the Facilities Planning Committee in a little bit, and he may more shed light on this for you, Mike. Thank you. Any other directors' comments?
That's okay. I thought recently we had a report from the Facilities Planning Committee where they talked about 3 projects that might be put out to a survey. I was wondering if we had any progress on that.
Well, I don't think it's going out for a survey. The Facilities Planning Committee held focus group meetings last year, and where 8 members of each community got together and they developed a want list or something they would like to see happen here as far as updates to our club, whether it's the building or the facilities we have or something on the golf course. And they've identified 6 or 7 projects they're looking at and getting costs on of upgrades we can make to the club.
The 3 that I was thinking of were redoing these tennis courts to make them playable for pickleball, removing the wall in here, and looking into putting a security gate on the boulevard.
And there's a couple other ones too. I think John's going to address this today. Yeah, aren't you, John? Okay. And maybe he can answer your questions when we get to that. Okay? You bet.
Gary, just a point of clarification on the discussion. These projects that we're talking about are projects that the Facilities Planning Committee has been investigating for several years now. And if they decide to move forward with preparing a recommendation to the board, that's the first step. Ultimately, whether it's a single project like the pickleball courts or a combination of projects incorporating the 3 that Bob referenced, in all likelihood, that would be going out to the membership for vote, to vote on a special assessment to fund those projects, correct?
Correct. Any other directors' comments or discussion? Okay, we're going to move on to committee reports right now. And first up is the chairperson of the Grounds and Greens Committee, Jim McEachern.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. This is a report. We had our last meeting January 15th.
You have to speak closer so they can hear you on the
You might want to hold it in your hand if you have to, Jim.
Okay.
It'll pop right off there. There you go.
Our last meeting was January 15th. I'll start off. Mindy Norbaum, the president of the ladies 18-hole, gave her report. I'm going to be brief. I'll probably do this again on the master board. This is the busy part of the season, January, February, March. Ladies had 9 events. There's 85 members signed up for the ladies 18-hole league. The association has started the ladies interclub this month. That's January. There are 2 interclub teams from Royal Wood. The team captains are MJ Crowley and Terry Allen. There are 15 ladies, as of January, who signed up to play. The golf clubs involved in our interclub are Naples Lakes, Traverso Bay, Rookery, and Hammock Bay. Really nice clubs. I'm going to skip over that. This just came up this morning. I want to update everyone on some new champions in different divisions. We have on the ladies' side the Royal Wood Cup, something different this year. Very exciting. This is the ladies' 4-ball team event. We are now into the final match. And the final twosome is Angela Tedeschi and Marie Paraway. And their opponents will be Mindy Norbaum and Linda Galati. So good luck, ladies. No date is yet set for that match. On the, let's see, Royal Wood match play on the ladies, that's the single match. And it's coming down to Donna Bopp and Karen Tibbetts. So I was just talking to Wyatt, and he's ordered some beautiful trophies for all the champions. The interclub is rolling along. On the ladies' side, they have completed 5 of their 6 matches, and they've been very competitive. It's always tough in the first year. On the men's side, this is their second year. It was tough in the first year, but they're within points of reaching to be qualifying for the next step in Florida. And that match is coming up next week here against Ave Maria, is coming all the way down 50 miles away. Let's see, let's keep on the ladies' side. The owner was just completed 2 rounds on January 28th and February 4th. The gross winners, the team of MJ Crowley and Holly Vandervoort. On the net side was Suzanne McDowell and Mrs. Stapleford. What's Mrs. Stapleford's first name? I missed it. All right, good. Okay. That's the owner. On the men's side, the men's owner was first round is January 15th, the second round was January 29th. In between, it was too cold for the guys to go out, so we went with a rain date. This is very competitive. Came down to the second day. I'll start with the third place. This is 2 rounds of gross play. Score of 141, Jeff Jones and Pat Palusha. Second place, 139, our president, Gary Norbaum, Bob Peacock. And the winner by one shot, the winners were Mike Murphy and Jim McEachran. I had a good partner. But the overall champion comes from the net side, another exciting tournament. The winners were Richard Clark and Jeff Clark, and it was a tie between them and Bob Morales and Dave DeLay. But with the USJ cut off, the title and an overall champion was Richard Clark and Jeff Clark. So, congratulations to all the winners. Okay. There's going to be more news coming up on the Appreciation Day. The Appreciation Day is March 22nd. The Golf and Greens has set up an ad hoc committee to look at a clock. I don't mean a small clock. If you've been around golf courses before, you see one of these big clocks out there. They range from 10 feet to 30 feet. And I was just talking to our general manager, Deb Richards, and she has pictures from the Tampa Merchandise Show. So we're going to be sending out flyers, but we're going to designate this year for the Appreciation Day, all the money go for the clocks, for one clock. So I can give you a ballpark figure, but no, I'm not going to do that right now, all right? That's another conversation. I know the ladies are trying to get out of here. Let's see. The biggest group of ladies is the Nine-Hole Association. President is Suzanne Stoll, 132 members. Al Hoffman is the president of the Nine-Hole Men's. There's 22 golfers in that. Wyatt gave me a report for the Pro Shop. If you want to know how busy it's been from 2023 to 2024, November, December, there's been 23,488 more rounds. So right now, from 2023 to 2024, just in November, December, there was almost 3,400 rounds, which sometimes puts us in place of a 36-hole facility. Ori Andrews, our superintendent of the golf course, and Wyatt, they've agreed and they've sent out a video of how to do certain things like fix ball marks, rake sands. So that's going to be going out maybe every month or every 2 months on certain conditions of the golf course. Golf course staff is at a max of 19. Lori just got back from San Diego on some new things that they'll be doing on the golf course. All right. So, January, February, March, busy day, busy month. I know there could be, watch your Chelsea points. If you don't know how to use your Chelsea points, call the Pro Shop. Hopefully no one gets shut out, but there have been a few shutouts, and that's if you're playing too much golf, which we all like to play golf, but if you're playing 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, you're going to get shut out. But I want to thank everyone for the time, all right? And we'll see you on the golf course.
Any board member questions from Jim? Jim, I'd just like to make a couple comments. First of all, you can stay there, you're fine. First of all, I would like to thank the Grounds and Greens Committee and Wyatt and the Pro Shop for starting the match play tournaments this year at Royal Wood. They are thoroughly being enjoyed by the members, and this healthy competition has not only developed some camaraderie here in Royal Wood, but it's installed some new friendships. So thank you for the vision of making this a possibility here at Royal Wood. I think all the members appreciate it. Thursday at noon is the final men's interclub match, not next week. So
This Thursday?
this Thursday at noon. And we're taking on the National Club from Ave Maria. They smacked us down pretty good up there a couple weeks ago on a Thursday afternoon. It was 41 degrees, it rained all the time, and the wind blew 20 miles an hour. We kind of got homered. So if you kind of wander out and watch us play here this week and kind of root us on, we'd appreciate it, because we need a win to move on out of the competition level that we're at and maybe go to the sectionals. So, and also, if you're out on the golf course and you see our superintendent out there, or Richard, his assistant, just stop by and tell them thanks for making Royal Wood look great again. All those cold temperatures we had played havoc on a golf course. And besides him restoring our nice green lush course, we've done a lot of planning. This place will pop like Augusta here in another month when April hits here, with all the new plantings and flowers we have. So if you get a chance and you see Ori out there, please tell him thanks when you appreciate all your hard work. Okay, next up is Diane Hazara from the Social Committee.
Good afternoon, Royalwood. It's a pleasure to be here, and I want to tell you about what we've done this last month. We've had two really successful events. The one was and totally different. And thanks to one of our committee members, Judy Majors, who brought this to our attention. We had a tour of the Echo Globe Farm facility. It's up in Fort Myers. Really unique facility, and we only had a small group go with us, but if you have a chance to go up and tour it, you really should. It started in the 80s. They started out going to third world countries to tell them or instruct them on how they could fend for themselves. And the tour was amazing. It was like being in a jungle. We saw plants, and we tasted plants that can grow in the wild, that you can eat, and that will solve problems for you. They raise their own animals. They even make propane there. So it was a fantastic trip for the small group that went, and I think we'll do it next year. And like I said, if you have the opportunity, you should try it yourselves. Also, I want to echo Debbie's comments on music on the courts. It turned out fabulous. I could not be happier. I'll tell you, we really need to shout out to the restaurant and the crew that came out there and did our food and beverages for us. The music was phenomenal. I will have to say the acoustics were great out there. It was a great crowd. Even the group commented on what nice people we had here at Royalwood. People danced. It was just a wonderful social event, and I look forward to doing more of those. Coming up, we have two big events coming up. This is late notice, but we're going to have a cornhole tournament again this Saturday. It will take place right in front of the clubhouse on the lawn. We need 16 teams to hold this. So get your partners. You don't really need experience. However, if you do want to practice, you can come up ahead of time and practice with your partner. The prizes will be gift cards to the restaurant. So you can sign up for that. That's going to be on the website when you get out of here today. Also coming up is, it won't be till March 14th, but I want to thank Pat Bednar, member of our social committee, for taking the lead on this. We have chartered the Sweet Liberty catamaran cruise for just our Royalwood group to go out on a sunset cruise on March 16th. So again, those seats are limited, so sign up as soon as possible. Let's see, I want to give everyone a reminder that we love a parade, but without participants, we won't be able to have a parade. So we're looking forward to the Derby Parade. So start thinking about if you want to be in it, get your decorations ready for your cart. One more thing, we still do not have a representative on the committee from the Bloomfield community. So if you know somebody on lives in Bloomfield, new people, everybody's welcome. We love your ideas, we love your suggestions, and anytime see a member of the committee to, come up with new ideas that you might have. Thanks so much.
Diane,
Hold your applause.
first, thank you so much for everything that you do and your committee. There's always something going on, and I know the work that you put into it. Just wanted to share some feedback regarding the cornhole tournament.
Okay.
Some feedback that I received from a neighbor of mine in Andover said that they're a little conflicted because it competes with the couples play on Saturdays. So I thought I'd just pass that along for you.
Well, first of all, this is probably going to be the last one we're going to be doing for a while on Saturdays because the calendar is so full. Second of all, I've changed the reporting time. All the teams need to be here by 12:30 so that we can get them lined up and signed up. Also, it's going to be on the website, the rules, so I won't be having to go over the rules before we begin. If we begin promptly at 1 and go straight through, we should be in good shape for everybody to still make couples golf. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Next up is Jim Rayner from the Architectural Review Committee.
Thank you, President Norbaum. Since we were here last, the board did pass the Rust resolution. So that added a new thing, a new item to our plate. And I also realized, based on some comments from various people, that I might have been remiss in not talking about the Florida puzzle. That's the white weed flower that's ubiquitous to Florida. Sometimes some people call it Florida snow. It's a battle to try to get rid of it. It's all around us. It's on the median strips. It's on County Barn Road, and I've had people say it's so prevalent. Why are we doing anything about it? Well, if we don't do something about it, it's such an invasive, destructive weed that it kills the lawns. So we have to take every possible step that we can to try to eliminate it. Now, if you read the literature, if you have a strong St. Augustine grass, that acts as a retardant to that coming and taking over. If the lawn gets thinned out, then it's going to come in, and what it does is it sends out tendrils, if you ever looked at it, that are probably upwards of 3 feet, almost like a fan, Japanese fan. It'll kill everything underneath it. We had one bad outbreak over the summer that pretty much wiped out somebody's front lawn, and the worst part about it is that it spreads. You know, if you cut it, if birds come and feed on it, your lawn services spread it. So once it gets in, it can spread through a community rapidly. It puts a burden on the golf course because it cause more expense to the golf course to kill it. So that being said, we had sent out notices to 4 out of the 6 condominium villages. The 2 that were not noted to have any were Amberley and Cranbrook. And I got to tell you, we got immediate response back from the other 4 saying we're going to take care of it. We got President Norbaum and General Manager Richard. They went out. Their mission was with Ori is to kill it in all the common areas. And if anybody, and they've been attacking it. And if anybody sees it, please give somebody a call, whether it's me or the office, and say, we're spotting this patch. The single-family homes, there was a program started by Bill Lindley. It's a lawn spray service that runs bi-monthly, six times. They'll do 6 visits during the course of the year. If we see anybody on a lawn that's protected by that, what we have to do is call them. We don't have to disturb anybody. But we still had, a few problem properties. One is on Ashton Court. It's been a problem property for 6-7 years. It's in the hands of the lawyers. So at some point, they will be dealt with. There was another problem property we had on Westboro Drive that we involuntarily placed into the lawn spray program. So that will be cleaning up, and that should take care of a lot of the properties surrounding that. And we have an unfortunate property at the corner of Royalwood Boulevard and Cobblestone. That's an estate property. The bills are being paid. People are going over there, but they have not responded, and they're not taking care of that. So that's next on our agenda to probably enroll them into the lawn spray program. But it's a shame because people who try to take care of their property, they just get overwhelmed, to a certain degree and have to spend extra money doing things. So I'm sorry I was remiss in not talking about that the last time. Based on the new, switching over to the rust, with the passage of that new protocol and standard, we did a rust inspection, and just to step back a little bit, back in August when we started sending a lot of letters out, alerting people. Most of it was along Royalwood Boulevard, dealing primarily with the sidewalks. But the protocol also is going to cover anybody, any property, on Royalwood, within Royalwood community. And the inspection revealed that there were 2 properties with rust on Westboro Court, 1 on Westboro Drive, 9 on Ashton, and 14 still on Royalwood Boulevard. So we're going to be sending some letters out. But the original plan was you have to be cleaned by February 1. If you get a letter, you got 15 days. I think ARC is going to discuss, just extending this out a little bit because it's such a new program. The people in Ashton Court, if there's any rust, usually it's on the margins of the driveway. It should be an easy cleanup. And some of the ones on Royalwood Boulevard, they're more deep-seated. So we're going to be sending out, some tutorials on what they can do to help remediate that. We're also going to be talking about that for single-family homeowners at the meeting on Thursday. Offering some ideas of what to do, maybe adding a filter to your well, changing certain things, and coming up with certain rust removers. I also heard recently, from some property owners, they're discussing, they want to discuss, things like artificial turf, in some or all of their properties. They want to discuss maybe Florida-friendly landscaping. They also want to discuss maybe replacing some of the St. Augustine with the new engineered grass that was put down in front of the clubhouse and along the Fourth Fairway. These are going to be discussions that we're going to initiate those over at Single Family Homes. If anybody has any thoughts about it, interest, feel free to pop in on Thursday. It starts at 4 o'clock. So there's a lot for us to decide and figure out. We have to figure out, number one, if the engineered grass is incompatible with the rest of the community, and whether that's also somewhat impervious. We have to make sure that's going to be somewhat impervious to weeds, weed growth within there. We already understand that it's somewhat drought resistant, which will be a plus for people. Tomorrow we have an ARC meeting. One of the topics is oversight over the condominium villages. And one thing that we're going to be discussing is sort of like withdrawing ARC oversight over the trees and the plantings, you know, that are within the condominium communities. They, you know, each of the 6 villages, you know, have committees, you know, specifically set up, you know, to beautify it with plants, shrubs, bushes, and whatever. And as far as the trees are concerned, you know, to step back, you know, Florida statutes have a tendency of giving greater advantages to single-family homes. So they sort of like changed the structure on tree removal for single-family homes. Condos don't have that luxury, but they still have to go through the county if you're going to be doing anything, removing trees, you know, excessively pruning them, whatever. You have to go through the county to get a permit. You know, we've been talking about that at committee. It seems like it's adding an extra step to go us first for us to tell you have to go to the county and get a permit. So you know, we want to get away from that as much as possible, and just turn that, you know, strictly over to the condominium association. Again, this is subject to master board approval. Things could always bounce back. This is like support in custody cases. It's permanent until it gets changed. So somebody can, if it's not working out, the master board will tell us, and we'll go back and revisit it. I think we're still doing pretty good with the fast track programs for the condominium windows. But one thing I want to caution everybody about is you can't put 2 or 3 different things in if you're filing your application. So if you're getting windows in, you want to put some kind of hurricane protection in, you want to do something else, make sure they're all in separate applications. Otherwise, it'll be delayed. You might be told to resubmit them. The windows can get done right away, and the other stuff will be pondered, you know, at the time of a meeting. We always have to be careful because you get applications in, and I'm not suggesting there's any deviousness, but sometimes people put things in application. They expect us to know that they're doing something different than what we think they're doing, and that's sort of like a cause of a problem. So this gives us a chance to you know, check out each application, you know, as they come in. So other than that, I can't. Oh, the last thing is that, and this. I've been subscribing to a law firm, Becker and Polikoff. They're a real big condo HOA law firm that has probably 30 offices throughout the state of Florida. Well, they provide updates. They provide updates to condominium law changes. They offer seminars. I've been sending, as I get them, I've been forwarding them to the condo associations, to the presidents. Hopefully they can distribute that. There's no hidden meaning behind it. It's just informational, because you know, the more we all are on the same page, you know, the better off we are. So other than that, we'll be sad to see you know, President Norbaum go, but we look forward to dealing with the next president, and they can teach us how they want us to do things. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. Any board member questions for Jim?
It's called Florida Pusley, P-U-S-L-E-Y. And maybe one last thing, because as long as I'm still up here, is that yeah, I'm going to be sending out a notice. You know, probably it'll be attached to the you know, probably to the next meeting minutes about the source of the authority for the ARC. I mean, there's been some questions sometime about what's the role of the master board vis-a-vis the community associated community villages. But you know, there's a specific section, you know, in the master board documents that give us the right to have oversight over the villages in terms of architectural and aesthetic control. So, but with that, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. Next up is Leo Gallardi from our Informational Technology Committee. Leo. Yeah. I noticed you might have been nodding off there, so I want to make sure you got up here.
I want to keep this as short as possible. It's 4:15. The women are going to start drinking at 4:30. We had our last meeting on 123. We spent most of our time talking about the M Consulting Group and what advantages it would bring to our community. And we're all for it. I think it's a good opportunity. We've been tied up with Summit for 7 years now, and 7 years is a lifetime in the technology world, so it's a good time to update. The other things that we now have some point of service equipment for the servers now. If we start getting a lot of outside guests and people here, it's an opportunity to speed up the process a little bit. They won't have to go back and punch in your menu. And I guess a couple of them are working, a couple of them use it pretty much. They could be a little smaller, but they're working. And I congratulate Jackie and Raphael when I see them with them. The other, Debbie mentioned that about 85% of the people are making reservations online, and that's a good thing. We get the other 15% making reservations online. It will give us an idea how many servers to have and how much food to have. And the last thing that we talked about was our telephone contract is up on September of 25. So we're going to look at the present contract and see what we want to improve and any changes we want to make, and if we're satisfied with what we have in the system right now. And if you have any questions, here I am.
Hey, Leo, just a quick question over here to your right.
Over here.
Regarding the handhelds and the size of the ones that the two servers are using, I've seen a lot of restaurants that are true handhelds. Is that a possibility, or is it unique to our system here, our software system, that it has to be the tablet size?
I'm not sure.
That's what Jonas recommended to us. We got them from Jonas.
Okay. Is there an option to have the smaller one?
Some of them don't use them now because they're too small for them. They don't like it. So getting a smaller one would only make everything else smaller.
I don't know that, most restaurants you go to, they have handhelds, and they work pretty good. I mean, the people I've dealt with. So that's the only problem I see with them. They're a little cumbersome, the size of them. But we'll see how they work out. Maybe the next iteration we have the small ones.
Any other questions for Leo? Thank you.
This is your last chance.
And moving right along, John Alessandrello from the Facilities Planning Committee.
And good afternoon to all. I'm almost reluctant to talk about pickleball, but I'm going to anyway. That's one of our projects, and the latest, we had looked at a remote site over by the fitness center, and the second option was to recover the existing tennis courts. So the cost for the ones out by the fitness center, we had to do quite a bit of work. There's engineering work that has to be done, permitting, and then we would have to bring in enough fill back there to get it somewhat level before the contractor would come in and do their court. In addition to that, if we went with a remote site, we would have to add 3 to 6 parking spaces per Collier County. If we recovered the tennis court, there would be no additional because it's a current entity that we have here. So the cost for the remote site would be approximately $475,000. The cost to recover out here would be between 75 and 100,000, and we have about 70,000 in reserves to recover this in a couple of years, so we could probably recover out here, have the lighting is already installed here, there is no lighting back there, we wouldn't have to add parking, we'd have close proximity to food and beverage. To me, it just seems like the right thing to do, if we're gonna do it. If we're gonna do it, is up to the board. I'd like to ask the board to consider the proposal and see if we can move on this within a few months. The price that we have is good for 60 days, so please give it some consideration. We had 3 projects relative to the clubhouse. One was this wall here, moving it and making more glass. We also wanted to improve the view through the atrium windows and also adding some more informal, laid-back, comfortable space. I've consolidated them into one project. We have met with MHK, people did the original design here, and they have agreed to do 2 or 3 renderings for us to consider, and they're doing it at no cost. The renderings are at no cost. The engineering will cost. And the front gate, we've been running around with this for a few years now. We've had discussions with an attorney. Jeff has met with Collier County a couple of times. Robin is on first name basis with the assessors up there. She's done a lot of background work. And we are in I think what's going to be the final lap of first just determining if we can, if we want to. I think we're getting close, so stay tuned. Any questions?
3 people proposed over here, 75 and 100,000.
Correct.
Can you get it from me?
I'm sorry?
Can you get it from me?
Yes. Hold on. $77,898, assuming no surprises. If you've done construction, there's always surprises.
John, I'm sorry, I was writing while you were talking about the last item. What was that project, the last of the
Last
project?
one?
Yeah,
It
was,
was we were working on putting a big glass coat on this wall to
yeah,
make it less intrusive.
so make the grill room and this room kind of one room.
And there have been a lot of complaints about I can't see out of the windows in the atrium. And so
Okay.
we looked at going back to the original design, was actually sliding doors there.
Okay, thank
We
you.
looked back at that. Any other questions?
How soon do you think you'd be able to provide the board with prices for all these projects?
Well, the tennis thing is pretty close, we're done.
Okay,
And as far as the, I would say, well, with the club improvements, we really have to get together and agree on what the final look is. After we have that, I would say 2 months to meet with contractors and go over the details and get an estimate.
that's great. Thanks, John.
Okay?
Any other?
John, you talked about having a combined pickleball, tennis court, revamp both there. You said you're gonna provide us with the proposals. Is this gonna, something that you have available now so we can take it up at the next board
Yeah.
meeting? Are we gonna get it?
Sure, Rick. I think that it could happen quickly, and
Okay.
yeah, it's about I would say 3 to 4 weeks to do the work. The work is taking what's there off. inspecting the substrate, making any repairs to the substrate, and then they can roll out the new surface. And then we have a choice of how many courts we want, how many lines we want. We want tennis, we want pickleball, and we have to decide on that.
I think I'm looking I'm not only looking as a cost, but also a scope of services
Yes.
in your proposal, so we
Yes.
can, what we're gonna get out of this for the money that we're spending.
I'm sorry?
What we will get out of this for the money that we're spending, and what type of surface, what type, all this included in your proposal. So the scope of services from the contractor that you choose, along with the price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, John. And the only other committee that's going to give a report will be me, and that would be the Renovation Committee. Myself, Debbie, and Ori are currently the only ones on the committee because it is getting close to the time that we form this committee 3 years down the road when we tackle the golf course renovation project. When our course superintendent, Ori Andrew, was out in San Diego last week, he was supposed to have dinner with one of the golf course architects that we may consider using here. His name is Mr. Wetchell, I believe, Debbie. I get that name pronounced correct? Okay. However, that didn't materialize, so Mr. Welchel is coming here next week, and we're going to have a meeting with him and just get his initial thoughts about Royal Wood, try to get some rough ideas what the project is going to cost, and any additions that we might want to do with the golf course renovation would cost. And that will be our initial meeting, considering possibly him to be an architect of our renovation project. So, and besides that, the Finance Committee has been working hard on this, as Rick echoed a few minutes ago in his treasurer's report, of how we're going to be able to pay for this, hopefully without any assessment to the members. So that's the only update I have on that. Nobody has signed up for the open forum segment of the meeting, so we're going to skip that. And I believe, unless I stand corrected, there is no old business in front of the board. No old business, so we'll move on to new business. And the only agenda item that we have, as I prefaced in my comments earlier, is the letter of agency with the M Consulting Group. It's permission for the M Consulting Group to negotiate a possibly upgraded contract with Summit Broadband. Any contract presented to us will be reviewed by the membership. Master board approval will be required at a later date if any such contract is deemed acceptable. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we will be holding information sessions with the membership to fully explain the proposal and the benefits and the upgrades of us doing this. Like I said earlier, we are kind of skeptical on this. Even though we're recommending we take a look, we're not recommending that we bite the fish bait and take it all down hook, line, and sinker. They're going to have to show us something or prove something to us if this is a contract that we really seriously need to consider. So I'm looking for a recommendation or a motion from the board that we sign the letter of agency with M Consulting and have them pursue a new contract with Summit Broadband on behalf of Royal Wood. Okay, we have to have a motion made and seconded before we can have any discussion on the topic.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Rick Murphy to sign the letter of agency with the M Consulting Group. Is there a second to the motion? I second. Seconded by Jamshed Bathina. Board discussion.
I just want to mention again that before we sign anything with Summit, they're willing to also give us a trial of 7 or 8 homes in which they will install that direct coaxial cable, and then we can decide for ourselves whether it's working or not.
Well, I think that's one of the things I was going to mention to Jamshed is kind of the parameters that we will give M Consulting as to what are the must-haves Gary, and I realize whether it's Summit or any other cable provider, including Comcast, coming in, it's going to be a sizable capital investment for them.
Yes.
They're going to be perhaps opening up roadways to install their conduit throughout the community, putting in new fiber and going into each of the buildings. So it's a really large capital investment, and I'm sure that they're looking at that investment and needing a long-term contract to justify them coming in with that kind of investment. However, particularly with Summit and then with them consulting group doing the negotiations, it may be a non-starter for them, but perhaps one of the parameters we have is you're going to need to give us something shorter than a 10-year renegotiated contract. Maybe it's 5 years with the opportunity to extend beyond 5 years. But for us to get locked into another 10-year contract, it might be a non-starter for us. So, when we think about the next step with them consulting group, what are those parameters that we need to have on the table for them?
Absolutely, and we would convey that to Frank Mambuka, who's the president of M Consulting, and we're going to tell him, we want some certain language in the contract, regarding the length of the contract, the TV escape clause, the penalties and what they would reimburse us for. One of the high-rises I talked to in Marco Island, their internet was out for a day. Okay, realize it's a small sample. It's only 90 members in that condominium association, but under this new contract, someone immediately issued them a refund for 1 day lost service, and those are the type of language requirements we're going to require in a contract from them. Any other discussion points on this from the board?
Yeah, one other comment, Gary. By signing this contract, we're just inviting Summit to give us a proposal. We're not signing anything with Summit. Is that correct? By signing this,
No, signing this letter of agency does not marry us to Summit Broadband. All this is they develop a contract for us, we look at it.
correct.
If we like it, we might want to consider it. If we don't like it, we walk away, we wait 3 years, maybe talk to other providers as Bluestream and Hotwire, which are probably the two industry leaders in the area for fiber optic TV and internet options here in Southwest Florida. I have a friend that belongs to a club up in Fort Myers, and they have Bluestream up there, and they like that very much, and it has all the same bells and whistles that someone is offering us with their contract upgrade. So, things to be looking at.
One more question. If we did switch to a Bluestream or Hotwire with a new contract, how long would we have to wait for that to proceed?
Well, we'd have to start talking to them in 2027, because the contract will automatically renew with Summit in December of 2027, unless we tell them that we're going to no longer go with him as a service provider for us. So we would have to talk to them well before then and be on board with that, because what Hotwire and Bluestream told us is that they would not use Summit's fiber optic network here in Royal Wood. They would put their own in, and they would run their own fiber optic line up into every condo and into every home separately. And the Summit fiber optic cables and junction boxes, they would no longer be used, because they want their own equipment and their own fiber optic for their service.
Gary, just to add on to that, I did meet someone from Bluestream at the expo that Gary referenced earlier. I had a conversation with him earlier this week, and I was telling him about, we're looking at this, and I said, what is the period of time that we would need to start talking to you if we wanted to go with Bluestream at the end of our current term? And he said, 2 years would be probably the ideal amount of time. So another, year and 3 months, Gary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, the motion on the floor is for the board to sign the letter of agency with the M Consulting Group, permission for MCG to negotiate a possible upgraded contract with Summit Broadband. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Any other new business for the board to consider? I have nothing else on the agenda. And with that, it's 4:36. I'm 6 minutes late. I'm sorry. So that's all we have for this month for the master board meeting. I would like to have somebody entertain a motion to adjourn. Make a motion to adjourn by Rick Verrier, seconded by Rick Murphy. All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed? Nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody home, for watching us. Don't forget about the annual meeting on March 10th. We need you to be here, or we need your proxies. Come on in for the free food afterwards. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joe.
Hey, Joe, congratulations.
What do you do?
Eagles. The Eagles won.
Oh, the Eagles. Yeah, I should have known that. I thought maybe you did something else, Joe. You know, you're always...
Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to see Kansas City lose. That's how everybody around the country felt. Patriots. Only two didn't see it lose, not to win.
I ate the pizza Sunday night.
Oh, boy.
It was great. They asked it for extra crispy.
Real sweat. He's calling Trump right now. He's an illegal alien.
Michael. Oh, Feely. I saw Michael.